replace the Tyreek Hill speed.
If they're standing in here, I think it's Guyton.
The Cowboys are staying at number 29.
Okay, so the Cowboys are going to stay in pick. I think it's Guyton too. I think Guyton would be the pick there at 29. At 29, I can get on board with Guyton there. If the Cowboys evaluate an offensive lineman to take in the first round, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt.
I like him better than you guys do. So if you want me to,
Guyton.
I like Guyton right at 29 and picking up an extra third. I do like that. And now I'm upset about moving on from Grant Barton.
Grant
100%.
Barton,
That will
Grant
eat
Barton,
me alive until we get to see maybe he doesn't end up being good, and then I'll be wrong, and that's fine. But that was a tough one to move on from. But you got an extra third, so I do think you're still in a good position with how center stretches. There's some guys that you can still land.
I'm fake smiling.
You don't like Guyton.
Jerry's on the phone.
I just don't like his hands.
I think you're right. I said, well, if he's the pick, I said we'll need to get better with his hands and his feet.
I mean, that's something that.
Yeah, and you're right.
They probably look at Tyler Smith and they say, okay, well, I can do the same thing again, but it's.
Because there's some traits there with Guyton where he's a good athlete.
Oh, he can get some movement one-on-one,
really
and he stays on his feet. I mean, there's things. I mean, he can make the easy reach, the cutoff, stuff like that, the movement skills. I think there's snaps where they've asked him to pull and clear paths, and I feel like he's done a pretty good job with that. I think pulling part of it and playing in space, that's not a big problem for him.
When I saw him at the Senior Bowl, the first day there in Mobile, he was phenomenal. He was able to go up against guys that were a little bit bendier than what he was probably used to during his one
let's
season.
Hold that thought real quick.
Go ahead.
Roger Goodell with the Chiefs pick.
That Make-A-Wish grants. One important wish was requested by a young man by the name of Justin Laverne, who was diagnosed with renal failure at age 15 and received a kidney transplant from his father just last year. Justin's love for football and the Chiefs got him through those treatments. Please welcome Justin to the stage, whose wish is to announce the first-round draft pick for his beloved Kansas City Chiefs. I'd like all of you to join me in cheering on Justin as his wish comes true. The floor is yours, Justin. Go get him, babe.
The Buffalo Bills have traded the 28th pick to the Kansas City Chiefs. With the 28th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the back-to-back Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs, select Xavier Worthy.
There it is.
Wow.
One, huh?
So you've got Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, and Rashee Rice at wide, plus Sky Moore. That's pretty incredible. Okay, the Cowboys pick is in. The Chiefs offense just got that much more dynamic. You look at Tyler Guyton still being on the board. If they're going to stay in here and make this pick, which they are, I would assume Tyler Guyton is the selection. He's got snaps at both left and right tackle. Now, he's a transfer from TCU.
Yes, he is.
Now, he's a freak athlete, 6'7". I think he's got room to fill out. But one of the most impressive things, I mean, you'll see him hustle his ass off. He goes 30 yards down the field to make a block. The hustle, the effort, the play temperament's there. It's just technique issues for me, right? I think the technique can get a little bit sloppy at times, but he's got massive upside. And, the arm length, I think, is something that he can use more to his advantage. But in the run game, once he gets his hands on you, this guy's very, very tough to get away from. So you move back to 29, assuming Tyler Guyton ends up being the selection, and you pick up an extra third. Sure, yes, I'm bummed to move on from Graham Barton. But to get at tackle, I think there's a pretty big drop-off. Once you go from Guyton and maybe Suamataia, there's a big drop-off from me to the next tackles. I think getting a guy like Guyton with the athleticism and the upside here at 29 makes a ton of sense.
The upside is unreal, and I mentioned it before the break, but the first day that I saw from him at the Senior Bowl was phenomenal. He had great work handling against guys that were a little bit bendier than what he was probably used to. He was good at handling speed. He's a former basketball player, and you see that mobility out there on the edge. The next day is where he had some struggles. There was a rep that he lost against Darius Robinson where power in the lower half kind of surprised Guyton, and he was able to get around him on both the outside and the inside. I think there's just a couple of things with Guyton that are going to take some development. It might take a couple of years for him to be what is what you would want from Tyler Smith, from 2023. I wouldn't expect rookie Tyler Smith here, but what I would expect 3 years from now, this guy to be a legitimate tackle and to still be playing for the Dallas Cowboys or starting for the Dallas Cowboys. I think he's a guy that gets a 5th-year option. I kind of guesstimated yesterday some guys that I believe would get 5th years. He's one of them. I think he's got that mobility. He's got that athleticism on the other side. I guess we'll see if that's the pick and if that's where the Cowboys would like to put him. Also, only one start at left tackle during his time at Oklahoma. I wonder how they play with that.
Yeah, it's I like him better than what we're hearing right now.
I like him a lot,
and I can understand because there's some faults to his game, but I see a guy that's 6'8" and 322 pounds,
massive man.
The length, the athletic ability, the movement skills for a guy that tall and that heavy, it's pretty impressive. I think there's some fluidity to his game and his frame. Aisha's right about the hands. The hands have got to be better there. And hopefully, we talked about the hands in Tyler Smith. What was the problem with Tyler Smith? The hands, the holdings, things like that. And, hopefully that's something that they can correct. But, there's times where he is so tall, it is hard for him to bend his knees.
Yes.
And that's something he can
play high.
He can play a little high.
That's what it is.
Right, here's Roger Goodell at the Cowboys pick.
NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Guyton, tackle, Oklahoma.
There you go. I had 8 tackles in my top.
Hey, I mean, he was one of the 2 best tackles left for me. If it was him and Kingsley Suamataia, and Guyton seemed like a pick that the Cowboys would be eyeing based on the skill set.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he's a guy. The traits are there. There's certainly areas where he needs to improve, but he is a freak athlete. He's got size. To move back and get him at 29 and add an extra third, I think is a good night at the office.
Yeah, you gotta be happy.
I'm 100% bummed about moving on from Graham Barton. I wouldn't have done that. Personally, I would have stayed in. I would have picked him at 24, and I would have been like, hell yeah, we got our center for the next decade. But to move back, to get Tyler Guyton, who clearly they liked, and the Cowboys taking first-round offensive linemen tends to be a home run. So I really do think that they will have a plan in place for Tyler Guyton. The War Room was very, very excited about this decision. Bobby, what do you think about Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma?
Look, I mean, he is raw. There's no doubt about it. He's still developing. But, Nick just said it a second ago, like if you have Tyler Guyton here, you don't necessarily, you're not going to expect him to have Tyler Smith's rookie season. But I'll say this, I know we didn't expect Tyler Smith to have Tyler Smith's rookie season either. But in fact, I think that if you're asking me who did I feel was more raw coming out of school at the time, I felt like Tyler Smith was more raw. But there's definitely similarities here. Look, I'm going to trust the Cowboys if they take an offensive lineman named Tyler from an Oklahoma college.
Yeah,
that's what I do. But no, to me, this is a guy who... You're talking about all the traits are there. Yeah, the pad level, he's 6'8". The pad level, it takes work. It's not that easy to get low and to keep your pad level low. He's inconsistent with his technique. He's still learning that. But all of the traits are there. And again, this is like the Tyler Smith pick where you knew all the traits were there and you trusted your scouting staff to know this guy has the mental makeup to put it together. And he takes to the teaching, and we trust that he'll be able to do this. So if you give me a traits pick and tell me that the scouts and the coaches are comfortable with, no, we think that he's got the mental makeup to do this, they've got a history of hitting on these traits picks. And
sure
so
do.
I'm all about this one, especially picking up an extra pick at 73, because I think they would have been happy to take him at 24 in certain situations.
Yeah, no doubt. Tyler Guyton allowing 16 quarterback pressures, just 2 sacks in the last 2 years with 513 pass blocking snaps. Certainly, there are some areas where he needs to improve, but an exciting pick along the offensive line, again, in the first round, replenishing for the Cowboys. Okay, we'll react more to the Tyler Guyton selection. We've also got now the Baltimore Ravens on the clock at 30. We'll go back to what's going to happen in the final picks of the first round. You're listening to the 2024 NFL Draft on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network and DallasCowboys.com. Yeah, hey, you get Guyton, you get an extra third.
See, that's what I'm saying. That 73,
you can make that a good player.
I'm trying to that to me that you've got to find a way to hit on that thing.
Absolutely.
You were looking for a 4 going into this thing. You picked up a 3rd on an overpay, and the Barton thing, that's going to be one of those things we're going to look back in history and go, was that really the right move? And
if Guyton pans out, then it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, and just got to figure out that. Take advantage of that player. Take advantage of those 2 picks, of the 3 picks. 56, 73, 87. Do some damage with those 3 guys.
Yeah.
This is where Will McClay and this group needs to really shine, with those picks.
I think, I think there are some people who really believe in Brock Hoffman at center. I think there are others who think he has high upside and that he can be the guy at some point, but maybe he isn't ready for it yet. Here's what I do think is important, though, and what I think is what partially ended up with you were comfortable walking away from Graham Barton and taking Tyler Guyton, is I think that your offensive line coach really believes in Brock Hoffman starting at center.
Yeah.
And I think that matters. And when I say I don't necessarily want to take a defensive tackle because I feel like you need to move resources and stuff, I think your offensive line coach looking at it said, hey, if we're going to talk about what resources we need to use, it's redundant to take a center because I think we've got a starter already. And so I think that's partially what played into it.
Yeah, I mean, look,
I'd still like to take Frazier if it was me because I think
I would too.
I think Frazier.
It's the Ravens, Brian.
Dude,
it's the Ravens.
What do the Ravens do? They sit around. They take a good player, Nate Wiggins, going to Baltimore. And honestly, I like
it's
that.
a tradition like no other.
It is, right? The Masters, the Ravens selecting.
Man,
picks.
I can't wait to watch him lose in the divisional round.
I actually love that comp, Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie from Daniel Jeremiah.
Is a fun one.
That's a good comp, I think, for Nate Wiggins, because he trusts his speed so much. He baits quarterbacks.
He's a good player.
He really does. But he's a guy. He gets the ball in his hands. That's a house call the other way. I mean, he will return for touchdowns. I think Wiggins is a very, very good player.
Yep, I'm all about that too.
Okay,
we
got San Fran and Buffalo. Okay,
yeah.
I wonder, San Fran. Do they go offensive line? Do they take Kingsley Suamataia?
They were. I wouldn't be surprised if they take Rosengarten from Washington.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can
a lot
see
of people
that.
like Rosengarten.
That's their kind of. They always play with. Don't they have the undersized tackle, the thin right tackle? Who's the?
Oh, the McKivitz.
McKivitz.
Yeah, that's not that good.
Yeah, but that's the kind of guy they play with. That type of body.
Okay, our hard out, just
People
so you
like
all know.
Rosengarten that much?
Rosengarten's good.
Oh yeah, I think there's some
it's
people.
pretty good too, but
Yeah, I think there are people who
They
like
took Bo
Rosengarten.
Nix. I mean, they're going to take Rosengarten.
Yeah, I mean, these quarterbacks are flying off the board.
People like Rosengarten in the top 40, I think.
okay.
Because if you don't take him here, you're not going to get him.
Do you grab a wide receiver here thinking you're going to trade Ayuk? If you're
That's
San Francisco,
That's a fascinating thought as well.
I mean, we got them all. We got all those run after catch guys. You got Corley. You got McConkey. Pearsall. We talked about him as a potential guy, maybe a sneak in the first round type of guy.
Corley's comp is Debo.
A.D. Mitchell falling is interesting.
Mitchell is exactly there. You go.
I heard some
on.
whispers about Mitchell maybe falling a little bit, but
tracking that.
at this time he's the best wide receiver left for me. But I mean, maybe Ricky Pearsall.
That's what me. If they're interested in moving on from Ayuk, there are some run after catch guys right now here. I mentioned Roman Wilson from Michigan is another guy. Or what about Leggett? Could they go and get another pair? Yeah. I mean, could they go get
big,
another
strong? Leggett would be a great replacement for Ayuk. Yeah, he would be.
I want to hear Leggett do every media availability for the rest of his career. That Southern accent.
It is wild.
I've never heard
Whoa.
nothing like that unless in the movies.
And when he started talking, he's just like, "Yeah, team said I did really good." I was like, "Whoa,
he's got
that's
such a great
underselling.
voice.
it really is. Like it's very. I mean, it's wild."
Okay, our hard out will be 54-47, just so you all know.
And just so all the listeners on the stream know.
Hey,
right?
well, the stream, you guys are family. We love you.
What's 54-47?
Like
That's
10?
when we have to leave.
Thank you,
Get
buddy.
off the air.
Oh, tater tot. Okay.
Are we going to get to talk to the
I don't know.
player? Maybe tomorrow. There you go. Go get him, Ozzy.
Yes, as Brian Broaddus said during the break, a tradition unlike any other. The Baltimore Ravens just sitting back and letting a good player slide to them. Nate Wiggins, the best corner left in the draft, super long and athletic, returned a couple of 3 interceptions for touchdowns last year. That's a good pick there for Baltimore.
Absolutely, and they're a guy that can play press, guy can play off. He can run exceptionally well. You mentioned the ball skills. He can track. You run him inside. He can cover. He's physical. He's not a big guy weight-wise, but he's super competitive. He does not want to give you the ball at all. And the Ravens, they'll do really nice with this kid.
You think he could work some nickel for them?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I do too.
I think so
That's
as well.
where I think he should be.
Yeah.
Anyway,
They got some speedy slots in the AFC that I think he could cover, and he'll have a couple learning lessons. There's no doubt. There is no doubt he'll have a couple of learning lessons, but I think he could be a really good nickel as well.
Man, he takes some calculated risks.
He does
in coverage, but
he tries to bait. He trusts his speed,
he knows,
man.
Yeah.
I think he's really smart. I think he's a high IQ corner.
Yeah.
But there are times where he's like, let's take a calculated risk here, and it's like, well, that didn't work out so well.
All right, the Dallas Cowboys selected Tyler Guyton at 29. They moved back from 24. They get an extra third-round pick. Here is the secret audio of the selection of Tyler Guyton.
That's fun.
Hey, Tyler.
Hey, what's up?
Tyler, this is Jerry Jones.
Nice to meet you, Jerry. What's up?
Hey, man. Listen, I just wanted to be maybe the first to tell you you are no longer a Sooner. You're a Dallas Cowboy.
Oh, my God.
And we're proud to have you.
Thank you, Coach. Oh, my God.
Well, we sure are proud, and my coach is sitting right here. Our coach is sitting right here, but we really are consensusly, and your position coach is sitting there. He's a great guy. You met him. We're glad to have you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right, Tyler, here you go.
Hey, Tyler, Mike McCarthy. Hey, congratulations, man.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Hey, where are you right now? You home with the...
In Austin, Texas.
Oh, you're back in Austin. Well, I know you and your dad are fired up. You just bring that big smile and that personality here, man. All right?
Oh, my God. Let's go.
All right. Hey, I'm going to pass along. You got a bunch of people who want to give you some love. Congrats. So excited to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, my man. Here, hold on again.
Tyler. Mike Solari. Hey, congratulations. Man, excited to work with you. We are excited to have you being a Cowboy, and I know your dad's fired up. So I'm going to call you a little bit later, and it's a little bit more quieter. But again, congratulations.
Yes, sir. What's up?
You celebrate, and you have a great celebration. All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Wow, the secret audio there of Tyler Guyton. We are expected to get him on the phone here hopefully very, very soon before we get off the air. We'll be able to talk with your newest Dallas Cowboy, 29th overall pick in the first round, now former Oklahoma Sooner, Tyler Guyton, who is a monster of a man and is very, very athletic for his size. Now, he's joining quite the foundation of former first-round picks. And, oh, wow, we've got the San Francisco 49ers pick in, and it's Ricky Pearsall out of Florida.
I'm done. I don't want to talk
surprise
anymore.
First rounder.
Yeah.
I told you.
Right here. That was a good one.
That's a good pick.
My
That's a good call to you too, Brian. That's a good call to you too, Brian.
That's a good pick right there with Ricky Pearsall. Oh, man. He had probably the catch of the year against Charlotte. We've talked about that before. But
He's a hell of a football player.
He is just smooth. It's like he's got stickum on his hands. But his ability to create separation, pretty uncanny. He is smooth off the line of scrimmage as well. Ricky Pearsall,